recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the show where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name's Jeff, and I am not the host today. Joining me in the studio is the usual cohort, Neal, Matt, and Ken. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, what's up?
Doing good.
Doing fantastic. It's a Monday night evening edition of Triviality.
I'm glad we were able to start the show on take 3. It's kind of like one of those, those train cars that you pump with your arms.
Those are called Gandy dancers.
Gandy dancers. It's hard to get them started, but once you're going, they're hard to stop.
I was part of a dance group called the Gandy Dancers in high school. So,
your 3 takes reminded me of President Bartlett on The West Wing during his radio address.
It's true.
Yeah.
You've really been digging into West Wing lately, haven't you?
Well, let's take a walk and I'll tell you.
Well, I'm not surprised. Neal's late to the game on that one, but a huge Sorkin fan. So, but yes, none of us are the host today because someone that you may recognize from our recent Bloodsport series, because he took home the championship there. Dustin Resch is our host tonight. So welcome, Justin. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you fellas?
Good. What have you been up to since you
took the crown?
I was going to say had to wipe all that blood off yourself.
I've just been breaking backs, throwing chalk, kicking cranes, which apparently is not how you're supposed to do it. I just keep breaking my foot.
and based on your background, making some more artwork.
That's true. I've got a children's book creator conference coming up in a couple of weeks, so I'm frantically working on children's book art, which is not what's behind me, but I'm really trying hard to get agents and publishers interested in the stuff I'm doing.
Very cool. And how did you start spending the $1 million prize from Bloodsport?
Just on pants that won't rip when I do the splits.
Cool. That's a good investment.
Yeah, basically when you're tied up between 2 trees and it's just continually pulled until your legs split.
These are very specific references for anyone who hasn't seen Bloodsport.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme does the splits a lot. I think that's a pretty good pop culture trope, even if you haven't seen the film. But I figure he shops for pants the same way the Hulk does. Like, they have to stretch and then rip attractively.
Well, welcome back to the show. We're glad to have you back.
Yeah, and just to mention another reference for everyone here, to quote Andy Dwyer on Parks and Rec, Dustin is also a champion. He's our NXT champion and Patreon support, so thank you for supporting us.
He was the champion of death.
Oh, no.
I'm in favor of that, too.
Given the fact that Neal's been watching The West Wing, I think we're going to team up against Matt and Jeff here. What was our team name?
All credit goes to Matt on this one. I'm a huge Psych fan, and Matt had mentioned Dule Hill, who plays Charlie on the show, the President's Body Man, and we're going to be House of Dule Hill.
Or on Dule.
Or House on Dule Hill.
It's not a Game of Thrones
That makes more sense. And I believe they call us the Jackals, So
they call us the Jackals.
Correct, is the full team
okay.
name.
All right, let's toss it over to the rules guy.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. I am the cream.
When the rules guy speaks, nobody sits.
That's correct.
Is that fair?
That's a good reference there.
All right.
I don't understand the reference.
So, Dustin, what do you have in store for us today? I heard it was a very special game.
It is a very special game. So I really enjoyed the games that Ryan Clefcorn Myers has been hosting for you guys, and he had the string of the butt-themed games going on. And I was teasing him one day that, I think the idea is great, and the way he was writing the categories was cute, but that he really could use some more stamina and try to do the whole game that way. And I kind of challenged him to write a whole butt-themed episode, and he said, why don't you do it? So I've never written or hosted a game of trivia in my life, but I put together this set of extremely themed questions. And
bless
sorry?
you. All butts. Bless you, sir.
Yes.
Nothing buts.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but butts.
No ifs and ands, right? Is that how this works?
That's right.
Just the butts.
So for the first round, number 1, It's a question about "Oh My God." Tetragrammaton is from the Greek meaning 4 letters. Specifically, it's most often used to refer to which 4 letters that appear throughout the Old Testament as a reference to the man upstairs.
In the Old Testament. Just give me a moment.
I'm more of a New Testament scholar myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only read things after people have woken up. I'm not a big, pre...
Yeah.
Neal's just not a fire and brimstone guy. He's more
Right.
like, you know what? We got to love each other.
Yeah, exactly.
As a narcissist, I only read the book of Matthew. The rest bored me.
What we found in playtesting that I maybe opened up with the hardest question in the whole quiz, but
Perfect.
you'll see why it was important in a bit.
Okay.
I can't really think of any that are 4 letters. Maybe you just want to go with amen.
Sure.
You have any ideas?
An abbreviation of some sort, because it's often I am who am, and I was trying to figure out if it was like a 4-letter word or it could be
Right.
an abbreviation of some sort. I don't know. Well, what are you thinking on this one?
Let's just lock in with holy.
Okay.
And we are sticking with amen.
Okay. So this specifically, the best way to think about this would be Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade when they're stepping on the...
Neal's shaking his head.
I saw that. That was a good eye roll. So the specific letters are either YH, WH, or YHVH for Yahweh, Yehovah.
I didn't know if you could spell that in 4 letters, so I was thinking that was like 6 or whatever.
Yeah,
so
same.
What was the final spelling?
YHWH or YHVH, depending on how you transliterate.
Awesome.
It's kind of when you write it out, it kind of looks familiar. So
Well, I definitely knew Yahweh. I just thought it was 6 letters.
Yeah,
so I
step
kinda
on the
wrote
right
that out.
stones.
Typically, I believe that they avoided saying his full name, that it was a transgression, so they used the abbreviation. I don't know. It's all a bunch of Old Testament stuff.
Ah, that's fair.
makes
You
sense.
know, like Voldemort.
No,
Right.
no, just
Not like Voldemort.
you can't take his name in vain if you don't say his name. That would make sense.
Okay.
All right, question 2. let's move past that one.
Yeah, we started on a happy note. Question 2 is a question about Becky. On the original show Roseanne, the eldest daughter Becky was played by Alicia Goranson, but was mysteriously replaced for several seasons by which actress who went on to wear a fine set of scrubs?
Yeah, we're in.
Okay.
Yep.
Scrubs. So probably
Don't want them.
yeah. Well, in this scenario, we do, I believe.
You want one scrub.
Yeah.
Would Sarah Chalk have been on Roseanne?
I have no idea.
She'd have been about the right age, I think, for that.
Okay. Who
then
who is she?
She was on Scrubs.
Oh, on Scrubs. Perfect. I was thinking maybe someone from like Grey's Anatomy or
No, it could be.
Katherine Heigl.
No, not.
yeah, the main Grey. Well, I'm gonna let you say a name and just lock in with it because I'm not gonna be helpful here.
Well, let's go with my initial gut reaction, Sarah Chalk.
Yeah, we'll go chalk on this one.
It's unfortunate. It is Sarah Chalk.
I don't know why that's unfortunate, Neal.
It's unfortunate for us.
I told you I've been throwing chalk ever since that Bloodsport tournament. Yeah, nice job. It is Sarah Chalk. Absolutely correct.
Also of How I Met Your Mother fame.
That's a Nicki Minaj song, right?
It turns out there's more verses than there are in the Nicki Minaj song.
Come on, man! I'm queuing you up for the next category.
I need to actually take the beat and flow with it, is what you're saying. Man, did you pick the wrong guy for this. However, 3 is a question about rap guys. Flavor Flav, Chuck D, and Terminator X were the core of the influential Public Enemy. They had an early rap rock crossover called Bring the Noise with which New York City heavy metal band?
We're locked in.
Okay, so we're between Anthrax and Pantera, and I think I remember. I know the song because it's Chuck D, and he goes like, "Here we go again," and then it's got
Yeah.
like these really
Turn it up.
yeah,
Bring
and
the
I
noise.
think, and it's kind of like a
In fact, I think it was on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 soundtrack, now that I think about
and
it.
it's more of like a thrash type song, which is kind of more Anthrax.
That feels kind of Anthraxy if it's thrash.
but
Yeah.
I can't get it out that it's Pantera, so you just want to lock in with Pantera.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a gap in my metal knowledge, which is sad.
Okay, we're locked in with Pantera.
Well, we didn't go that heavy. We went with Quiet Riot.
So Pantera is a Dallas area heavy metal band. And quite right, I think you guys were right that they are British. It was Anthrax, and I saw the tour with Public Enemy and Anthrax. Then again, I saw the Cowboys from Hell tour with Pantera back then too, when all of you guys were toddling around in diapers and stuff.
Who's the front man from Pantera?
You're thinking of Scott Ian,
Anthrax?
who's the bass player, and the one with the crazy beard and
the raccoon striped beard. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Dimebag Darrell was Pantera, right? Is that?
Yeah, Phil Anselmo was the singer. Dimebag Darrell was the guitarist.
Okay. We wrote down both those names. Didn't help.
It is Anthrax. Yeah.
I didn't realize they've been around that long.
Oh,
Anthrax? Yeah.
Longer than Pantera for sure. 4 is a question about girlfriends. I've been married to the wonderful Brooke, who is totally not standing behind me with a baseball bat for over 20 years now.
Nice job, sir.
I also have many female friends, fellow artists and writers, and just buddies. The term for that kind of non-romantic relationship is named for which philosopher who outlined the concept in his dialogue, The Symposium?
Oh.
We're in.
Yeah, I was like, yes.
Platonic. Plato.
Yeah.
You're telling me you didn't have to spend $100,000 to learn that?
Gonna go with Plato.
Yes, writer of many dialogues, and The Symposium. We said Plato, platonic love.
You did, and that's not any dumber than the $100,000 I spent to learn how to draw children's cartoons.
And Jeff, I love you platonically.
I also learned about the ontological imperative, so we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just met all you guys, but I love you all platonically too.
Thanks, man.
So number 5 is a question about big butts,
Finally.
which I know you've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
A sponsor of I Love Lucy back when they were allowed to advertise on television. What is the name of the vast tobacco conglomerate responsible for brands such as Marlboro, Virginia Slims, Parliament, and Chesterfield?
I believe we're in.
Yeah, I
Is that
think
Philip Morris?
Philip Morris.
That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're in.
We are as well. We said Philip Morris.
You are all correct.
Sweet.
Or so I think through all the emphysemic coughing we were all doing.
I love you, Philip Morris.
I just wanted to get it on the
It's a
record
good movie.
Yep.
Mhm.
Thank
Right
you for
now.
smoking.
that I made up a philosophical concept just to see if anybody would call me out on it. So
Which one?
Well, philosophically, I did not comment on it because philosophically, I wanted to see if you would think that I would
Yeah.
respond to that.
I combined the categorical imperative with the ontological argument just to see if anybody would call me out. So
Jeff, you old dog. I only spent $40,000 on my degree.
That was a philosophical burn.
I think that you did not come up with the concept, therefore you did not.
What a quandary.
I just wanted those clicks on Facebook.
6 is a question about other brothers. Marvel's Chris and Hunger Games' Liam have another brother named Luke, who appears on what current HBO drama?
We're locked in.
Okay. So we got some HBO dramas. We're looking at your Games of Thrones.
He's not in the Game of Thrones.
Okay. And then you also have the rest.
I've never gotten a chance to say this before, but we have the same manager,
Oh.
so I know what show he's on.
Is that why?
Manager drop.
You have the same manager as the third brother.
As Luke Hemsworth?
as all three brothers.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Do you have Kieran Culkin too, or?
No, he's my private manager.
Oh, fair enough. So HBO.
Do you know what's the one with Reese Witherspoon, Shailene Woodley, and Nicole Kidman?
No, not
No?
gonna. What about True Detective?
I don't believe she was in either of those.
I just naming shows that I know exist.
I don't think he was in either of those, no.
Sure about that?
Yes, I'm fairly positive.
Okay.
Maybe want to rethink that.
Is that
though.
show where all the racehorses died still on?
Which one was that?
I forget what the name was.
See,
You
but
know what I'm
good.
talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes, I think that was a David Milch show
Yeah.
after he did Deadwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know,
Deadwood.
what you're talking about.
A bunch of horses died. Cancel the show. So it's probably not still on.
It's not Carnival,
Okay.
because you can go to hell.
So let's stop naming things that's not.
I think it's just one of the current ones. I just can't remember what the current
let's say
lineup is.
HBO Real Sports.
Done.
Okay. We're locked in.
What's the one they do the locker rooms every year?
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
yeah, fine. Hard Knocks.
All right, great. Well, we're in with HBO's second most popular show.
Westworld.
Oh, I know what that
No, I'm
is.
sorry. The correct answer was Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel Hemsworth. It is definitely Westworld. He's the, I believe, older and shorter and, regular ass brother.
That's okay.
Yeah. So 7 is a question about itty bitty wastes. Whalebone, metal, and ivory are among the materials historically used to construct what body contorting device?
We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I know my fashion.
Oh, they're locked in. So yeah, I wrote down corset because I'm thinking of body modifying.
It is body constricting.
Yeah. What else would constrict your body? Really, nothing. I can't think
Boas.
of anything.
Maybe
about it.
anacondas.
Yeah, I kinda
They're
like
saying that's in the, like, sewn into the fabric.
I guess it could be the frame, like originally.
All right, we're in with corset.
They definitely have a frame.
Yeah, they definitely used whale bones in early construction of corsets.
Why do you know so much about corsets?
Comes up a lot.
I swear to God, I watched like a documentary on it because people used to just faint. That's why they had like fainting couches because they were
Oh yeah,
so
that came up
dangerous.
before. Dustin, are we correct?
You are correct. Although now I wish they used anacondas in those. That seems like genius.
It's the anaconda vice.
Yeah.
Matt's wearing a corset right now.
Yeah, gotta.
How's that working? I
look
could
good
use
for
something
the
like
audio
that.
podcast.
So it turns out Matt's 6 feet without the corset, but the corset shoots him up to 7. That's how
Yeah.
he gets that height in.
Just
Yeah.
space between the vertebrae. That's pretty
Just
cool.
squeezes him up.
Can we get a quick score recap before we move on here? We got 50 points.
Yep. What are you guys
I don't
pulling
I think
here?
we have 40.
You're the one holding the scorecard, Jeff.
All right, so it's 50-40.
Okay. So on to question 8. A question about round things in your face. This one is hilarious. What is the medical term for the gel substance that fills the majority of the human eyeball behind the major sensory structures?
Gross.
Yeah, I don't like eye stuff. Fun fact.
Oh, that's
Hate it.
I was just at the eye doctor, and this isn't going to help anyone, but I was asking him about like the little things you can see sometimes that like feel like they're floating.
The floaters,
The
yeah.
floaties.
And the floaters are in this protein-based section of your eye, I believe, is what he said. He's like, everyone has protein in that part, and then that's what you get those little things.
Yeah, so what happens is cells break off from the interior lining, and then usually you can see them against like a white background, and then they get just enough into the focal length between the fova and the retina, and you can see them.
And what area are they in?
I didn't give you what the middle
okay.
is.
Are we locked in? Do you know this? This feels like one of those things where you don't know the answer, so you say a lot of stuff about it, so you seem like you know what you're talking about.
That's usually what happens, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't that
We're on the
sometimes
same
help him
page.
get to the answer?
Sometimes.
Let's
just-
lock in with the goo.
The goo. How do you feel about Corsica? Isn't that a place? I think I'm saying it because we said corset so many times, but I don't know why I'm thinking of Corsica.
In Italy?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it is in Italy.
It's lovely this time of year.
It's not.
Napoleon was Corsican,
Oh, okay, that's where I'm getting it from then. Okay,
but we can go with the Corsica.
the Corsica.
All right. Jeffrey?
I'm really bad with names, which is why I'm really great on a trivia show, but
This is it's like it's like a membrane kind of thing,
it
right?
is, yeah.
Again, with the eye thing.
Eye
You guys
fluid?
gonna go with the Ypres Hill
Hmm.
insane
Yes.
in the membrane?
Yeah. I was thinking that. That's not bad.
Okay. Ypres Hill.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. The dumb clue in that one was about this is hilarious. It's the vitreous humor is the
vitreous
goo
humor.
in your eye.
Man.
Have you heard that before, Jeff?
Mhm.
Okay.
And not
We heard it before.
different from
I'm more interested in like the lens aspect of eyes than
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't care about anything behind the sensory structures at all.
Yeah.
I asked my sister, who's like a surgical coordinator for an eye surgeon, for a round things in your face question, and she was given the most obscure, like clinical stuff. And I thought this one was much kinder, but it still has been confounding everyone.
it was much kinder.
Yes.
That's okay. We're still on a good trajectory.
Yeah, we're half right.
We
so
like
that's all
batting
we can
about
ask
half.
for.
There you go. It is gooey, so goo is half right. 9 is a question about taking your picture. Made by exposing silvered copper plates to light, what is the name of the first commercially successful photographic process named for the monsieur who developed it around 1839?
This one's bothersome because I've heard it pretty recently.
Yeah, and I know this.
It's just one of the things that you don't pay attention to what they're saying.
Like when I see people doing it, I understand it. I know what they're doing, but
Mhm.
I never remember the name.
What do you think of an L name?
Like, well, it's not Lumiere, I don't believe. That would be the film guys.
You got anything?
I was pretty sure Polaroid was later, and that had to do more with the instant print developments.
Yeah. The way that this method works is it's all chemical based, right? To develop.
It's also partially electrostatic.
Mm.
So,
so Tesla?
sure, why not?
Okay.
You're looking with Tesla?
Yeah, sure.
Polaroid, Eastman, Kodak, all that stuff. Lumiere we talked about, but we put Edison because I feel like he invented a camera. I'm just not sure if it was this one.
This would have been pretty early for him. This was Louis Daguerre. So daguerreotype is the word that you were all
Yep.
dancing around, named for the monsieur.
Daguerreotype. Mm-hmm.
I think hopefully we'll get into some more comfortable territory here soon. 10 is a question about turbo-vets. Chevrolet introduced the Corvette in 1953. The sports car underwent a major design evolution in the early 1960s. What was the unique feature that distinguished the 1963 fastback model from all the others?
I know it.
Okay.
Pretty sure. I'm almost sure because you trust
Lock
me?
that in.
All right.
So the first generation Corvette body, which they made from 53 to 62, had the first generation didn't have it, but it had the braces looking grill.
Yeah.
And then
with the circle.
the later ones had like the side scallops cut out.
Mm-hmm.
63 transitioned more towards the ones with like the bubble in the hood.
So I mean, would this maybe be like a spoiler or some kind of?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it was the first one that.
Because if it was called a fastback, the spoiler makes sense because that would add to make it go faster, cutting wind resistance.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
or if there was the wings on the back.
I can't remember if it was the first year that they did a split window or they did a solid window in the back, or maybe it was the first year they did fuel injection. I'm trying to remember because I think the lower
that makes
engine
sense.
options had carburetors. I've actually driven every body style of Corvette that's ever been made.
Oh, a 63?
I've driven a 63.
Wow.
It was not a fastback. It was a convertible. It was red.
So close to being useful, Jeff.
But it wasn't the big 427. It had the smaller engine.
Do you want to go with fuel injection?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I sadly don't remember.
We were locked in with fuel injection.
I may have underthought this. I love the 53 Corvette. It's one of my favorites. And then when my dad and I used to see Corvettes all the time, he would say, that one's a special Corvette. It's got a split window. And so I put split window.
That's correct. It is the split window 63 because whatever injection they had, the convertible would have had the same under the hood stuff as the fastback. It was just that split window in the fastback model.
Well, they had a couple.
What do you mean when you say split window?
So the rear
back.
window is two pieces of glass with a
okay.
divider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like
I
that,
thought it was the split window, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, all the other Stingray models after that with the aerodynamic nose and everything had the single back window starting right then.
Yeah, the reason I knew that, like I said, my dad and I would point it out, and then my favorite Hot Wheel at the time was the split window Corvette. And I never really understood what the big deal was, so I was like, oh, it's just a window, but it kind of stuck with me.
All right, going into the swing round, house on Dooley Hill is up 60-40 over us Jackals, I guess. Is that what we're?
Yeah, they call us the Jackals.
They call you the Jackals.
Yeah, well, sure.
Well, we said at the beginning of the show that Dustin was a champion on our Bloodsport bonus mini-series, which was brought to you by Patreon. So, Jeff, can you just tell a little bit about Patreon really quick, just for those who may have not heard it before?
I don't know how you would have missed it before, but if you have missed it or you haven't thought about it yet, you can join Dustin and quite a number of other people who support the show directly at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. We have incentives for you there. You can support us for as little as $1 a month, and it brings all the wonderful things like keeping the lights on here, and also things like our bonus miniseries, which we'll be doing season 2 pretty shortly. We're going to be drawing our names only from those people who support us on Patreon and would like to be on the show. So if that's maybe a little more of an incentive, hopefully it is, you can do that. We've got great bonus episodes, discounts on merchandise. Why not? Now's the time.
And if you feel so inclined to fork over the big bucks, we're getting our loot boxes ready.
Yeah, and my favorite thing on the show is to put Matt on the spot. Matt is working on the Loot Crate right now.
Yes, I am currently putting items in a box.
Yeah.
Mystery items.
Mystery items, that's correct. And also, come join us over at The Crop, our Facebook group. It's a lot of fun. More people have been joining. Come hang out with the kids over at the cool lunch table.
Mm-hmm. It's a big table.
It's a big table.
Talk about farming.
Yeah, farming, a lot of gifts, a lot of
Corn.
yeah, some tomatoes and fried green tomatoes preferably. But
I know everything there is to know about 18th century agrarian business.
Okay.
there you go. Well, yeah, come join us. Dustin, what do you have in store for us today?
For the swing round, I've got a question about magazines.
Are these the kind that you kept under your bed or no?
Yes, I've got some
That
under there right
explains
now.
all the butt
I was
questions.
say
Let's pretend like I still have print magazines and that they're not just a huge waste of paper.
If it was me, it'd be like Entertainment Weekly and People. So
boring.
So it's a waste of paper and mind.
That's an incredible transition. So, fellas, for 2 points each, name 10 of the fellas that have been named as People's Sexiest Man Alive in the 21st century, or since 2000 to avoid the arguments about when the century began.
Oh, since 2000, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
3 of them have made their second appearance on the cover during this time period. 2 points each for up to 10.
Okay. Sure. Sounds good. Do you want to leave or do you want to stay here?
You just do it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to do it.
All right, Jeff. What do you know about sexy men?
Everything.
Great.
I'm looking at one now.
Hey, we're locked in.
We have a bunch of men who, if they aren't on the list, deserve to be.
Yeah.
So
All right. Everybody has had some time to discuss these sexy men, and we're locked in.
looking over at their list, I'm surprised how little overlap there is.
So I'm looking over at your guys' list. I don't know why you just wrote John Malkovich 10 times. It's an interesting choice. But I think what we're going to do here is just run down our lists, and he'll let us know if we're correct or incorrect, and then
Fill
he'll
in the
give us
gaps.
the full list when it's done.
We would love to read the list. I almost had it.
That's pretty good, John.
That wasn't
Malkovich.
bad.
Don't you ever correct me.
You could almost beat him.
All he does is over enunciate.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that good of an actor, but
He's got his shtick.
he's got a shtick.
All right, so we'll
worked
start
for him.
off with our first one, which was George Clooney.
We also had Clooney on our list.
So Clooney in 2006 made his second appearance on the
Awesome.
list at age 45.
All right.
All right. For our second, we put Chris Hemsworth.
We also had Chris Hemsworth.
In 2014, Chris Hemsworth at age 31 made the list.
All right. Good start. And this is where our lists diverge.
Dramatically.
So we said Ryan Gosling.
Gosling.
Nope.
No,
Gosling.
there is no
No.
Ryan Gosling on
That
this
is
list.
travesty, but
Incorrect list.
Ken is upset about that one. Our next one
Platonically.
is... Platonically. Our next one is one of my favorite people in the world, and that would be Dwayne Johnson.
In 2016, at age 44, Dwayne Johnson.
All right. We had Ryan Reynolds as our next one.
Ryan Reynolds in 2010, way before Deadpool, at age 34.
Green
did
Lantern.
receive it.
I knew one of the
I
Ryans.
actually think that was
there.
pre-Green Lantern also.
Wow.
next we're going to go with one of Jeff's favorite people, Blake Shelton.
Yeah, that's, I think, the consensus dumbest recent choice. That was the most recent at age 41, 2017, Blake Shelton.
Sorry for throwing you under the bus
Red,
there, Jeff.
redneck.
Is that a song?
It is one of his
Oh,
songs.
okay.
He also has one where he just says "chew tobacco spit" a whole bunch of times.
It is the same song.
Is it really? He's a classy
Yes,
dude.
it is.
All right. So after hearing all the years for these most recent ones, I'm pretty sure this is wrong, but we had Chris Pratt on there.
That does not appear on the list.
For our next person, we will go with who James Corden in a skit for The Greatest Showman called Huge Jackman.
Yes, in 2008. That is a correct pick.
He wasn't even fully ripped then.
Yeah, he
He
was
wasn't.
a medium Jackman.
He just got increasingly ripped over the years.
Well, in contrast to that, we went with Small Hanks, Tom Hanks.
If he ever did, it definitely was not in the current century.
So sad.
Our next is a castmate of Blake Shelton, Adam Levine.
In 2013, that's true. At age 34, since I've been saying him.
that tiger tattoo. Apparently, all the
Boy,
women
am I
like
glad
it.
there's not a lot of points in this round.
Yeah. We went with Bradley Pitt.
In 2000, that was his second appearance
All right.
at age 36. So he hasn't been on in
Yeah.
quite a while, but he did make this cut.
Woo.
Good year for Brad Pitt.
So we thought Brad Pitt was on this list, but we crossed it out for this person who is a favorite of mine, who is David Beckham.
That's the 2015 at age 40.
You got all the most recent ones.
Yeah.
I'm really keeping up.
Oh, I subscribe.
He has a subscription.
Under his bed.
This is-
Yeah.
That's right. See, Justin's listening.
Just this issue.
now moves from the coffee table to the bed. So.
All right.
I'm only paying attention for password hints that I can use to break into your stuff later.
This is like those guys that
It's like the third show in a row somebody's mentioned the possibility of doing that. I'm getting worried.
We're all
it's like
Russians.
those guys, those men or women, I should say, who get the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, but they don't buy any other Sports
Yeah.
Illustrated all year. I just buy the People's Sexiest Man Alive issue. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we had as our next choice Robert Downey Jr.
No sirs.
No.
Robbed.
Our next one is going to be Matthew McConaughey.
In 2005, he keeps getting older and they stay the same age.
Playing his congas and his bongos.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
We went with Denzel Washington.
So, having listened to your conversation, I think it's important to note that People magazine's idea of diversity involves sometimes Canadian. And so, no, definitely not
No?
Denzel on this list.
So Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is the diversity on this list.
And Hemsworth as a Australian, yeah.
Oh.
That's true.
I think
Yeah.
I think technically Dwayne Johnson is the closest thing to diversity on this list.
That's a real shame.
Oh,
yeah.
that's true.
Should be Idris Elba this year, but
Heck yeah.
probably won't
That
happen.
was another one I was thinking
So
of.
great.
Idris every year.
Yeah, that would be good. Our next one
Platonically.
is... Platonically.
No, he's amazing.
I'm hoping to go for a perfect 10 here, and this next one I'm a little unsure of, so I hope it's not going to mess up our style here, but we put Ben Affleck.
2002.
Oh, man.
Daredevil time. So
Is that
Bad
pre-back
Fleck.
tattoo?
yeah,
I don't know when he got that.
That
thing.
was
the Phoenix
Scotty Doesn't Know era, right? Wasn't?
Euro trip.
Yeah. Same.
Could have been around that time.
Just for the record, and I'm not kidding when I say this, Neal has an enormous back tattoo that we always forget about. But he takes off his shirt every now and again to go swimming, and we're like, oh my God, I forgot.
That is true. That is true.
I just have a little tiny one.
So based on those last conversation we just had, I'm 100% sure this is incorrect, and we said Jamie Foxx.
For the exact same reason, you are 100% correct.
That's too bad.
That you're 100%
He was
incorrect.
great in like the Ray era.
Yeah.
I could totally see it.
So for our final answer here, we're going to go with the newly single Magic Mike, Channing Tatum.
That is true as well. 2012. You guys really did nail the last 7 in a row.
Neil knows his sexy ass men.
He nailed 10 men.
Let's just say it's not the first time.
Well, let's say that.
Oh, it won't be the last.
All right. So we managed to cobble together 8 points in that round, while you guys added 20. So
We're professional cobblers.
I'm just glad that was only worth 2 points apiece.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I actually contributed to that list somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah, Ken did. Ken was naming some people off the top, like Blake Shelton, which I never would have remembered, but he got because Ken likes a rough and tumble type of guy.
So which ones
Just
did
a
we
guy in
miss?
flannel.
So, to run through the ones you missed, 2001 was Pierce Brosnan at 48. Johnny Depp had his first and second in this time period in 2003 and 2009. Jude Law in 2004. Matt Damon in 2007. And then I think the only other one we didn't hit yet was Bradley Cooper in 2011.
I forgot about the Cooper.
I said Bradley
I thought about Bradley Cooper, but we didn't write it down.
Dang.
I thought you were going to call him the Coop. Like, I forgot about the Coop.
We're good friends.
Yeah.
A Star is
Right.
Born.
Well,
Hanging with
nice.
Bradley
That was
Cooper.
fun. Let's dig into round 2.
So in the second round, number 1 is a question about flat butts. Geologically, a mesa is a flat-topped hill with a top wider than its height, and a butte is a flat-topped hill with a top that is narrower than its height. What is the Wyoming Butte, made famous by Richard Dreyfuss and Some Mashed Potatoes, which is coincidentally also the first designated U.S. national monument?
I'm locked in.
So
Everybody's
this is
got it.
Do you know it?
I'm trying to remember. It's the what?
He doesn't know, but
This
he
one
can
is-
sculpt it with
Yeah.
trash and
This,
dirt.
this one is oft mentioned.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
mentioned a lot because it's in
It's an
Encounters.
AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Wrong Spielberg movie.
Ready Player One.
Gigolo Joe.
I said E.T. You said AI.
It's obviously Minority Report.
Schindler's List.
I
the
don't.
one.
I don't know the name of this thing. I just know it's from that movie. But that's all I know about it. So.
I don't do well under pressure. I'm like the opposite of a diamond. It's from Close Encounters.
I know that.
Okay.
It's from A Brief Encounter.
And,
Yeah, this mountain was used during a torrid love affair that ended at a train station.
that doesn't mean anything to me. So this is Brokeback Mountain. What is this?
No.
All torrid love affairs do involve butte stuff.
Ah,
That was well done, sir.
that's where that is. My
Did you get
pen-
ink all over the place?
No.
Pen broke?
You got.
I don't know. I guess we'll tap out. I'm so sad that I can't remember the
Yeah.
name of it. But
I feel bad, Jeff.
No, it's Rock Lobster is what you're putting down.
All right. Well, it has been said many times on the show. It is Devil's Tower.
That's true. Nice work. I didn't know what the teams would be, or I wouldn't have stacked all the questions so decisively on that far end of the table.
Oh, it's
Well,
okay.
we're never a team, so we're like, oh, let's just try it today.
Yeah.
It's going well.
Maybe one day me and Jeff will team up too.
the dream.
Number 2 is a question about packing much back. What is the common American term for the industrial utility vehicle that the UK and its former territories calls a tipper lorry?
we're locked in.
Oh, good.
I think I got it.
Oh, you
if
do?
they're locked. Dump truck, right?
Yeah, I would think so because it tips.
Dump truck.
Dump truck sounds good.
Yeah.
I believe dump truck sounds correct.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all we said.
That is what you said. Yes, that's correct. It is a dump truck. Number 3 is a question about shaking it. So this is a 2-part pop culture question, and both parts are required for points.
Okay.
So as of 2003, what's cooler than being cool?
Okay.
And part 2 is what brings all the boys to the yard?
Put together sounds refreshing.
It does. we're locked in.
So it brings all the boys to the yard. It's my milkshake or milkshake. Cooler
cool.
than being cool is
Ice cold.
what is? Oh, is that what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. Oh, ice cold
All right.
milkshake. Yeah. Right.
All right.
So yeah, our answer is ice cold milkshake.
Yes, a very refreshing ice cold milkshake.
That is a perfect score all around. You guys bring all the boys to the yard.
Ken and I are just on the same wavelength today.
Number 4, a question about an LA face with an Oakland booty.
Ooh.
In sports, who was the owner of the AFC's Raiders when they first moved south from Oakland to Los Angeles?
Don't look at me.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, I know that their GM is Reggie McKenzie. I'm trying to think of the.
That's very helpful.
I
know they just traded Khalil Mack to the
The Bears. Yep. In exchange for like a bajillion picks.
I'm trying to remember if this is the dude with the weird haircut that looks like they put a bowl on his head.
John Gruden.
No, the other guy, the owner.
This is a man who eats a quarter pounder for lunch every day of the year.
Are you helping them?
That's not. He's not gonna know what that means. That's a true story, though. I read an article on it.
Okay, I'm not gonna pull it. I know who it is. I can't think
Speaking
of his
of
name.
Reggie's, do you remember when Reggie Bush had a career?
So the fact that I can't think of his
Actually
name.
wiped from the record books for.
Yeah, do you remember when he had a Heisman?
Yeah,
I do.
Now someone else has it because they bought it on eBay.
Al.
Pacino.
Michaels.
Green.
Haka.
I'm not going to get it, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say this former coach became an owner, which I know he didn't, but I'm going to say John Madden.
Just think, baby. That would have helped you. It's Al Davis.
Al Davis. Yeah, see, that was close.
So the guy with the haircut is the son of the Al Davis. That's the correct answer to this question. Is he the one that eats the quarter pounder every day? He looks like it.
Al Davis does, yeah.
Al Davis.
So the original Al Davis owned the team from 1972 to 2001. So he owned them when they moved down in 82, and he still owned them when they moved back in 94. And then he died, and now his weird-looking kid has it.
Yeah, he's a bit of a crypt keeper, Al Davis was.
Yes.
If I recall.
There's lots and lots of pictures online with the two of them next to each other comparing.
Yeah.
Number 5 is a question about acting like an animal. Who was the original puppeteer and voice performer for the world-famous Muppet drummer Animal? He appears unpuppeted in movies like Trading Places and The Blues Brothers.
I got nothing better. I can't think of anybody else.
I mean, he does. I think that's right.
Well, our other option would be.
I don't think he was in those movies.
Well, I was going to say Jim Henson puppeted a lot of the,
we're locked in.
a lot of the Muppets.
You're locked in. I know Frank Welker did a bunch of that, and he does a lot of acting as well.
I could see Frank Welker doing it. I think that's probably better. I don't think Henson did animal.
When I think, and he's known for doing animal noises, so that would make sense to me. So we're locked in with Frank Welker.
It was either between Jim Henson or what Ken and I went with, which was Frank Oz.
It is Frank Oz. He was a policeman in Trading Places, and the guy releasing Jake from prison, giving him his stuff back in the Blues Brothers.
Makes sense.
And so the reason I was so specific about original puppeteer and voice performer is that in the Muppet Babies, Howie Mandel and Dave Coulier took different shifts being his voice, the voice of Baby Animal.
Yeah, it was Howie Mandel. I read he would do the voice when Dave Coulier was in the theater with Alanis Morissette.
I'm going to hear that whole song in Bobby voice next time.
No, that sounds like torture.
You ought to know that's a bad idea.
That's ironic. Number 6, a question about scandal. Back in 1922, when the American people were still surprised by this sort of thing, President Harding's Secretary of the Interior, Albert Bacon Fall, became the first sitting cabinet secretary to go to prison. What was the name of the petroleum and land scandal that caused the fall of Fall?
We're locked in.
Teapot Dome?
Oh, is that something? A teapot dome?
That's a thing.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Teapot dome. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to go with.
Yeah.
All right, teapot dome for us.
I'm very sad that Ken was on your team, Neal, because this was actually a question during trivia on Wednesday. It's Teapot Dome.
Just to clarify, I was not there on Wednesday. I did not hear the question, and Jeff still mentioned it to me, I think, last night. Otherwise, there's no way. I think you just said, like in passing, you said something about Teapot Dome. Otherwise, there's no way that would have come to mind.
For the record, there was, because I was like, it was a bunch of pop culture stuff, and I was like, but I was useful for 2 questions. There was a science question and a history question, and the history question was mother.
Teapot Dome is correct. I can't believe I managed to get 2 Wyoming questions in the same quiz, but Teapot Dome was an oil field in Wyoming that was traded off for illegal favors and things.
Well, when you think butts, you think Wyoming.
Yeah, and domes and teapots. So number 7, I actually had to substitute an answer because I was just listening to your episode that Dave Nelson hosted there in the house, and he asked almost the exact same question I was about to ask. So I've got a substitute that Ryan Myers provided to me. Number 7 is a question about Playboy. Playboy of the Western World, Endgame, and Pygmalion are all theatrical works written by playwrights from what country?
Neal, my only in way of this is knowing the country that Pygmalion takes place in, and that's the country I would guess, but I don't know the authors of any of these. So apart from that, you choose, and we'll lock with whatever he says.
That was also what I was thinking, but I don't know.
Well, then let's lock in, because I don't think talking about it's going to get us anywhere.
I doubt it.
What country are you talking about?
England.
Yeah, well, I know it's in England. But I feel like it's either, I don't know why George Bernard Shaw is coming to mind, and Oscar Wilde.
Oh, so you think they're Irish?
If George Bernard Shaw is Irish,
he is.
I would maybe go Ireland.
All right, let's go Ireland.
I don't have any thunder, but Ireland for us.
We were basing it pretty much off Eliza Doolittle being English, right?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know.
So we said England.
George Bernard Shaw did write Pygmalion, and he is Irish. And so is John Millington Synge wrote Playboy of the Western World, and Beckett wrote Endgame, and they're all Irish.
Nice.
So I'd like to tell you guys the original question. You're welcome to keep it in or cut it out as you wish. The original question was, name the poet and cartoonist responsible for The Missing Piece Meets the Big O, who also worked as a columnist and cartoonist for Playboy magazine for over 40 years, when he wasn't winning Grammys for songs for Johnny Cash or getting Oscar nominations for songs for Meryl Streep.
That was a while back.
That's where the sidewalk ends.
Yeah, Shel Silverstein. Yeah. That was a while back, though, that one.
Well, I just heard it this weekend, but yeah, you guys got that one so quickly, and I didn't have any. Mine was a little more obscure, but not much.
We've asked the Shel Silverstein and Johnny Cash thing a couple different ways. I feel like that's come up a couple different times.
I don't know about that.
Maybe just in
I
conversation.
know that I've definitely asked it.
8 is a question about silicone parts made for toys. The elastic, and it turns out, as I found out the hard way, meltable 70s toy Stretch Armstrong turns out to be filled with a gel made not of silicone, but of what substance marketed by the company Caro?
It's the stickiest known to man. That's all I know.
It's sticky?
It's very sticky.
I never had the Stretch Armstrong. I had the red guy that you had to pump up, and then you could
Oh,
like
he was
bend him and
great.
stuff.
Ooh, I had both the red guy and Stretch Armstrong.
That guy was great.
It's one that you had to pump up. Was that the Lance Armstrong?
It's the Mark McGuire. 'Cause he's a red guy.
So that brief aside, the guy, there's a collector who paid about $2 million, and he owns each of the record-breaking balls from that
Yeah,
year.
it's the dude who did Spawn.
Todd
Oh.
McFarlane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Can you think of a substance that would
Can you
be
ask a
sticky?
question about Spawn? No? Okay.
If it was in the song, you could.
Yeah, I don't know. We can just lock in with a guess if you want.
Maple syrup.
Okay, we're in with maple syrup.
All right. So what were you thinking?
Well, interestingly, he said syrup because Caro makes Caro syrup. If it's the same company I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But what's something really tacky? What did they used to put on like NFL players' hands?
That was like it was like a stickum, but I don't know what it was.
Just think back to Little Giants.
Yeah. Well, that's what that was.
Presuming it's sticky.
Yeah. I mean, it is like.
Oh, it's sticky.
Yeah. If you like cut it open, that's what it was. I mean, it just.
Or inevitably after a week or two when it broke open.
Yeah, when it rips and then it doesn't extend anymore.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
It's not edible. I'll tell
I
you.
know that.
All I know about Caro is they make Caro syrup.
Okay. Well, then just we'll lock it with Caro syrup. Fine. Locked in.
I've got to decide whether I'm going to accept that, and I don't think that I can. Because I don't know that Caro provides the stuff that's in Stretch Armstrong, but it is corn syrup. You guys were dancing all around it. And that's what Caro makes is corn syrup. Caro's just the brand name.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm actually shocked that it's corn syrup. I thought it was totally synthetic.
Yeah, that's interesting.
9 is a question about juicy doubles. What is the name of the West Coast fast food juggernaut with a double-double that is slowly making its way toward the middle of the country? They promise Colorado is next. Those are good burgers, Walter.
Neal's locking in.
Mm-hmm. We're in.
We're in.
And I prefer it animal style, but we're going in and out.
It is in and out.
I'm on board with you with the animal style. That's the best way to go.
And might I say really quick, when you actually listen to Baby's Got Back, these lines come at you so fast that you miss them.
Yeah.
But now that he's saying them one after another, just like slowly, I can really appreciate the tune.
Yeah.
Are you saying that it took you till question 19 to realize that I was doing all the lyrics from the song?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I've never isolated the phrase "juicy double" before.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's a winner.
You're saying do it like they do on the Discovery Channel?
Yeah.
Wait, wrong song.
You guys said that I will go write a Bloodhound Gang themed quiz just for you.
Can we go further niche?
This question is sweat, baby, sweat.
What gland under your armpit? Yeah, now you have to do
The
it. So
pineal
yeah,
gland.
I seriously think I'm going to. That's fantastic.
yeah, do it.
So the final question of regulation is number 10, a question about FloJo.
Ah,
3-time Olympic track and field gold medalist Florence Griffith married an Olympic medalist, and in doing so became sister-in-law to another 3-time Olympic track and field gold medalist. What is her name? The sister-in-law's name.
I think so.
Does that
I
name-
think
Does that
I
name
were
sound
locked
familiar?
in.
I'm pretty sure that she married Michael Johnson, who was a track and field guy in the 90s.
Okay.
I don't know who the sister would be, but I'm guessing the last name would also be Johnson.
Maybe.
We're gonna lock in with the old Lucky Johnson.
Okay. So I know that FloJo, I believe it was the '88 Seoul Olympics. I know she won like the 100 and I think 200 meter. She was like the fastest woman in the world at the time. She still might be in that event. Ken and I were saying the name Joyner.
Jackie Joyner. What was the last name?
It might have been Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Kersey.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go Joyner Kersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's much more right.
Yeah, FloJo was Florence Griffith Joyner. She married Al Joyner, whose sister was Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Well, I was
Nice
way
work.
off. All right.
It's the only track and field runner I know.
All right, going into the final, House on Dule Hill is up 160 to us Jackals, or they're calling us Jackals because we only have 98 points.
Uno noche.
Just give me one more night.
So take us to the final round here, Dustin.
Okay, so the first question is a question about Honda. The second question is a question about Fonda. The third is a question about Anaconda. The fourth is a question about Rwanda. And the fifth is a question about Wakanda.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, after due consideration, all the bets are in.
Wagers.
It's fine. Same thing.
We're not branding that like we're branding game versus
No, it's
show.
Same. It's literally the same exact meaning.
Yeah.
It is not.
All right, who cares?
Number one is a question about semantics. A question about Honda. E Honda is the sumo wrestler with the 100-hand slap and the butt smash move in the classic Street Fighter II, which is created by which Japanese video game developer? Number two is a question about Fonda. Name all of the Fondas that appear in the 1981 many Oscar-nominated film On Golden Pond. A question about Anaconda. The absolutely zero Oscar-nominated film Anaconda stars one big pop star and one big hip-hop star. Name them both. A question about Rwanda. The Virunga National Park in Rwanda and Uganda is home to the majority of the world's mountain gorillas. Name the famous primatologist that was murdered by poachers while studying them. A question about Wakanda. Which came first, the Black Panther Party or the Marvel character Black Panther?
Okay, we will be right back after discussing our answers.
Baby got back. Baby got back.
Okay, all the answers are now locked in after some discussion, so it's time to get those questions one more time and feed those answers back.
A question about Honda. E Honda is the sumo wrestler with the 100-hand slap and the butt smash move in the classic Street Fighter II, which was created by which Japanese video game developer?
Well, we wagered 10 on this one, which I'm disappointed in because I thought it was going to be a car question. That's Capcom.
We wagered 15, and thinking about the classic Marvel vs. Capcom with the Street Fighter characters, we said Capcom.
Okay, it is Capcom, you're correct.
All right.
And I love the crossover Marvel Capcom games also.
Yeah.
I don't know what voice you were doing earlier, but could you say Candy Cane?
Candy cane.
Yep, you're the guy from Joyride. I knew it.
A question about Fonda. Name all of the Fondas that appear in the 1981 many Oscar-nominated film On Golden Pond.
We wagered 20 on this one. Ken had never heard of this movie, but this one, famously, I believe it's Katharine Hepburn's last Oscar that she won. Henry Fonda won in this movie for Henry Fonda won an Oscar for this movie, and then Jane Fonda was nominated for an Oscar, and I don't know, I can't remember if there's a cameo from Bridget or Peter or whatever, but I know for sure Henry and Jane are in it, so I said Henry and Jane.
That's what we said, right?
Yeah, very confident. So confident that we wagered 0 on that one, but we did go Henry and Jane.
Everybody's correct.
Nice.
It's Henry and Jane, yeah.
Oh, come on. That was a guess. We weren't going to get any points.
I know.
A question about Anaconda. The absolutely zero Oscar-nominated film Anaconda stars one big pop star and one big hip-hop star. Name them both.
So we wagered 20 on this one as well, and Ken originally wanted to go with the pop star John Voight and the rap star Owen Wilson in the movie, but we actually went with J-Lo and Ice Cube.
John Voight doing an outrageous accent.
We bet 0 on this, and what would have been a very different movie if it was LL Cool J and Kylie Minogue.
It's Bizarro Anaconda.
I was going to ask a follow-up about what actual Oscar-nominated person was in there, but it was the big hip-hop star John Voight. So it was indeed J-Lo and Ice Cube, Mr. O'Shea Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So a question about Rwanda. The Virunga National Park in Rwanda and Uganda is home to the majority of the world's mountain gorillas. Name the famous primatologist that was murdered by poachers while studying them.
Well, we had never heard this one. We wagered 10 on it. We were pretty much all thinking of Jane Goodall until you said murdered, and so maybe it was John Goodall.
Oh.
Her brother or husband or something.
So, Coincidentally,
You're never going to believe this.
we wagered 15, and we thought maybe she had a brother named James Goodall.
This turned out to be the funniest answers to the darkest question in the whole game.
Yeah.
This was the one that was Gorillas in the Mist with Sigourney Weaver. It was Diane Fossey.
Oh, yeah, I'd heard that.
Jane Goodall studies chimpanzees, not mountain gorillas.
Fair enough.
Also correct.
Yeah, but her brother.
I haven't looked up whether she has brothers named James or John, but I would hope so.
Much less famous brother.
A question about Wakanda. Which came first, the Black Panther Party or the Marvel character Black Panther?
All right, we went all in on this one for 30, and I was pretty sure that I had heard that the Marvel character came first.
We also wagered 30, and I was pretty sure that it was also the character.
So as you guys were talking, you were saying you thought it was maybe several years apart. The Fantastic Four number 52 was the first appearance of Black Panther, the character, in July 1966. The Black Panther Party was formed in October 1966, so they were just a couple months apart in the same year, and you guys are all correct for all the points.
Wow.
All right, after the final, coming in second today, a respectable 128 is going to be... I said a respectable second.
All right, respectable second.
I'm respecting ourselves. Us Jackals coming in with 128 in second. But today's cream of the crop, House on Dule Hill, coming in with 230.
I am the cream, yeah. The cream of the crop.
Yeah, we said internally here that if Ken and I were able to break 200, we would both be donning a cover of Triviality Sexiest Man Alive 2019.
Sure. Pick one of the four of us.
Mm-hmm.
Pick your character.
Yeah.
If you make it a really high Patreon level, I will draw that for you and give it out as a gift to those guys.
Ooh, I like that. That's a great idea, actually. I like that.
It is not. Nobody wants that.
I want it. Dustin can draw me
For
like
sake
one of the
your
French
own
girls.
Vanity.
Like one of the French girls on his huge back tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
This is now Neal's vanity project.
All right, if everyone wants to
has
know, the back of the tattoo on my back is of James Cameron's hands drawing Kate Winslet on the Titanic.
Wow.
I thought it was an entire prison map.
Well, yeah, it was, but then I had to draw over it.
Change
so.
it for season 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little does Neal know while he's sleeping, it's like the map in Harry Potter. I keep changing it.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today. That was a really fun game.
Thanks, guys. I hope that you liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. We are anxiously awaiting the what's the name of Bloodhound Gang?
Yeah.
Song?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bad Touch is the name of the song, and I seriously do think that I want to write that now because that's going to be amazing.
A potential Bad Touch what would you say? Sequel to this game?
Yeah, sequel. I feel like
Spiritual
Dustin,
successor.
since we talk about wrestling a lot, this should be Dustin's gimmick, is that you only take one song and then you write an entire game based off of it.
You know what? I might do that for my games from now on.
It's funny
just
that
to-
you say that
just
because
to
it
get
seems
some ideas.
it seems like a great way to do it.
Because you know what would be an ultimate game would be We Didn't Start the Fire for
all,
popcorn.
all history.
Yeah.
And then I might actually learn all the names in that damn song. It only comes up once an episode.
Dustin, where can people find your artwork if they haven't checked it out already?
People should go to dustinresch.com to find my artwork, and I know that's a real easy one to spell, so it's DustinResch.com.
And all you people who work in the book industry, as it often happens this way with who you know, if any of you know anyone who is looking for illustrators for books, for children's books, reach out to Dustin at dustinresch.com because he's good and he needs the work from you guys.
He needs some work.
I also know, we're probably about 2 months out from Christmas. If anybody really wants to spoil me, that beautiful Thanos painting in the background, I could put that on my Christmas list. So,
Okay.
you gentlemen have gift ideas now?
My Christmas
Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced. My Christmas
every
list
way.
is a drawing of myself on a fictional People's Sexiest Man Alive episode.
Sounds good.
Next team.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us today. For the gentlemen in the studio, Jeff, Neal, Matt, and myself, that was Triviality.
This guy's walking down the street when he falls in the hole. The walls are so steep he can't get out. A doctor passes by and the guy shouts up, "Hey, you, can you help me out?" The doctor writes a prescription, throws it down in the hole, and moves on. Then a priest comes along and the guy shouts up, "Father, I'm down in this hole, can you help me out?" The priest writes out a prayer, throws it down in the hole, and moves on. Then a friend walks by. Hey, Joe, it's me. Can you help me out? And the friend jumps in the hole. Our guy says, are you stupid? Now we're both down here. The friend says, yeah, but I've been down here before and I know the way out.